Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to break down today's video with you, which is all about copywriting versus other online business ideas. So if you've ever thought about building an income stream, a side hustle, or your own business as your own boss, but wondered what to go after based on all the options out there, such as vacation rentals like Airbnb, or network marketing, or coaching, or virtual assistants. Today, I want to touch on all of those and how they compare to copywriting and share a little bit more about why I ultimately found my way to copywriting as one of the lowest risk, lowest cost, fastest ways to build your own business and replace your corporate income as your own boss. So if we haven't met, hello and welcome. My name is Jessica Johnson, and I have 15 years of experience in this industry of writing, communications, and marketing. I have led content strategy for global brands inside corporate America, and then I became a freelance writer, grew my own business, built an agency, and scaled it to multiple six figures, and now love to be able to share this path with others who are interested in creating more freedom and fulfillment through online writing. And it's just an amazing industry that I'm really excited to share with you. So let's talk about all the other ones out there though, because if you're anything like me, when I was in my 9 to 5 thinking about what I could start to make money on the side or how I could build my own business and be my own boss and have more freedom, I just wasn't sure what path to choose. I had no idea how to get started. And so I heard about a lot of other things. I saw people doing other things, and I wish I would have had a video like this to compare them all in terms of, how much you can make, how long it takes to get started, risks to be aware of and things like that. So I'm going to kind of share what I worked through today. And the caveat being, if you're in one of these industries or you have friends that are really passionate about another one, that's great. Like, you do you. I'm so pumped for anyone who is out there doing big things, living brave, like creating whatever their version of their brightest life is. So this is not throwing shade at any of these other paths. It's really just sharing my experience, what worked for me, and why I think copywriting is such an amazing one if you haven't considered it or even ever really heard of it. All right. So let's break it down. A few of the other paths that I heard about, one word that came up a lot was network marketing. MLMs, things where you sell a product on behalf of a larger organization and you get a team to sell more products underneath you. And so for every product you sell, you get a little commission, and then you also get a commission based on getting new team members underneath you and having them sell products, that whole thing. Now, MLMs were interesting. I saw them a lot for beauty products, for supplements, things like that. But as I did my research, I found that the Federal Trade Commission says that only the top 1% of network marketers actually make a profit. So you do have to invest in whatever product you're going to be selling. And while there's a lot of hype around the world of network marketing, and you see a lot of people at the top of the industry making money, taking trips, flying on planes and getting cars and all this stuff, the reality is 99% of the industry isn't making that kind of money. And so for me, I just thought, okay, that's interesting. I'm just going to keep looking. And there was also some part of it where I just had this desire to build my own brand in some way. So, it's great to work on behalf of a larger organization, and I support a lot of businesses, but there was something that just felt really good about it being mine. And so I kept looking for that reason. And then the other thing is that, every network marketer I saw was really selling on social media. So they were pitching in DMs, they were warming up, relationships with people that they had never met before in DMs, and eventually moving them into potentially like selling under their team. And I just was like, I'm not the girl that can cold sell in DMs. I felt like I'd have my friends and family support me. And then after that, I was like, I don't want to live on social media, even to this day, I like using it to connect with people, to, share my podcast, share my YouTube. But I like taking breaks from it too. And I love the feeling of not having to rely on it for business. And so for me, and all those reasons, like, network marketing just wasn't my right thing. The things that I loved about copywriting in comparison is that you don't need social media to get clients, that you don't even have to invest in products or anything up front. You don't even need a website if you don't want one. Everything you earn from day one can really be profit. And you can make a lot of profit, like $50 to $100 an hour. $50 an hour is a six-figure year. So there's just that opportunity where even starting at a lower rate, you can hit that six-figure mark or replace a 9 to 5 salary much easier. So found my way eventually to copywriting, but I'm going to share a few other paths I considered first. Another one was vacation rentals. So you and probably everyone you know have heard about Airbnbs and VRBOs at this point. I know so many people who are buying them and making good money off of them, and that's an amazing path for some. For me, I just did not want to have to go and buy a property in order to then hope it all worked out to turn a profit. I don't like the feeling of having, large monthly payments on something that I'm going to have to make sure sells, no matter if the market changes, no matter if, Airbnbs become too saturated. I saw so many people getting into it that for me, it just felt like at some point, every single person was going to be in there, and then who was going to be the ones like buying the Airbnbs or staying in them. And so for me, that just was a path that I didn't feel like was right for me. There was also an element of not wanting to have to be a landlord. So I love to travel. It's one of my favorite things ever. Every single month I'm going somewhere. And so I just know with time zones and with wanting a life where I could really be off the hook or work anytime, I didn't want that feeling that I would always be waiting for a call at 2 a.m. or needing to go and get maintenance in, or someone to go fix something. So just for me, there was a lot in there that it didn't feel like my right path, even though I know people who love it and swear by it. For those reasons, just kind of the combination of risk and then being on the hook for, whatever happened in the market for the next 30 years, having that mortgage, it just was a little bit much for me. And so I kept looking again. In comparison to copywriting, I really loved that I could do that work from anywhere, that I could work any time of day, any time zone. It didn't matter as long as I got my work done. And I loved how, again, there's no risk, there's no real startup costs. You really get your writing samples together and you go pitch businesses, and as soon as you get hired, that money hits your bank account and you're not paying a few $1,000s a month of a mortgage. That money is profit that you get to keep. So for that reason, copywriting was a better fit for me than like vacation rentals, like VRBO or whatever it may be. All right, so then progressed along and saw the opportunity for being a virtual assistant. Now, a virtual assistant is when you help another business owner complete tasks such as posting social media, such as replying to DMs, such as scheduling emails, things like that. And, while I love a VA and so much, like I just have the best team of support and I'm so grateful for them, for me, I just felt like I wanted something where I just liked the creativity of writing. I did a lot of tasks in the corporate world where I wanted something when I came out that felt like, for me, it was like this mix of this left brain strategy and this right brain creativity, the way that writing is, that just really intrigued me because I loved the feeling of being able to help business owners put their message into words, to be able to write copy that helps connect people with products and services that improve their lives. And then I also loved that, with copywriting, it's just market value. You can start at a higher rate. And so for me, I just figured, okay, if I'm going to be working these hours, I want to be earning as much as possible for my time. And so copywriting felt really intriguing in that sense. Now, I've had a lot of VAs take my, copywriting programs because they make such a nice complement where maybe you start out helping a business with VA and assistance work, and then they need writing help, or they need, they offer you the chance to draft a social media post. And if you have that writing training, immediately you have skills and services that you can command a more premium rate for and that complement everything else you're doing. So hadn't really thought of that when I was checking out all these options, but in hindsight, that can make a really great compliment as well. And I've had people go through my programs who do that. All right. But again, with copywriting, I think the value is just that the rates were higher from the beginning, even as a new writer, just because it's a different skill set. And then I loved the creativity of it as well. And I also love the feeling of, again, it just being like I could choose the hours. I wasn't kind of working on someone else's schedule or list of things that needed to be done. I got to kind of own that a little bit more and choose my deadlines, that kind of thing. All right. And then, so the last one that I considered, and I actually did for a period of time, is coaching. So some of you know that one of my first ever forays into entrepreneurship was in health coaching because I was certified in holistic health and nutrition. And I just loved it. And I hadn't even seen writing as an option before coaching. The only idea in my mind was that, well, if I have this training in these other things, then I should probably coach on it. And there was a lot I loved about coaching. I love helping people. I loved my client relationships, but I started to notice this funny thing where the days that I got most excited about were the days where I got to be really heads down on creative projects and create things like courses or programs, or I got to write about health and do my blog posts and my email and my social media. And so I started to look at those days and lean more into that. And instead of just having writing be like part of my business, I leaned into it being my whole business. And I would write about the industries I cared about, like health or wellness, and expanded from there. But I just realized that that was such a better fit for my personality, that like writing all day versus being on calls all day was so much more in line with my energy and just, like being able to not feel like, oh man, like I've been on calls all day, like I was in corporate, and instead be like, yeah, I like worked on creative projects. I took breaks when I needed to. I just felt so much more energized at the end of the day that for me, that was a sign it was probably the right thing for me. Another thing that really helped with writing versus coaching is that because I like to travel, because I like the freedom of different time zones, with coaching, you are on your call schedule. And as you book more full, you have calls at all hours of that day, and you're kind of stuck to one time zone. You can't just go take a random impromptu trip because it's going to mess up when you're taking calls. And a lot of times I found myself, sometimes you need to do calls at midnight just to stick to the right schedule. So I loved that with writing, I could really move my schedule around as much as I needed. And if I had an appointment to do, if I had a sick day, if I had a random opportunity open up to go see a family member, I could just take my work with me and I didn't need to rearrange anything on my calendar. I just felt really, really free with that. And so for me, that's why copywriting ended up being the better option, even over coaching. I also felt like with copywriting, again, I didn't need a lot of social media. Like I could reach out to businesses, email them, meet them at an event, and get started on work. I didn't need to build a social media presence for years. And I loved that as well about copywriting. It just felt easier to get clients right away. And then again, with coaching, there's so much you're doing that is prep work for even the calls. So you're following up after, you're, letting people know before, you're doing preparation. And for me, I just loved with copywriting that for every single minute I spent working, every single minute I was on a call, an email, I was researching something, I was writing or editing, I got to bill for that time. And so for me, it just felt like such an opportunity to scale so much faster and to grow my business so much faster. And that's why it did grow into six figures and multi six figures so much faster than when I first kind of started out in coaching. And now I feel like I get the best of both worlds, where I get to make these videos, I get to share what I know about copywriting and content marketing. But then I also get to spend days doing content, which is what I love. And so anyway, I hope that's helpful to you in thinking through some of the most popular online businesses, whether you have heard about network marketing or vacation rentals like Airbnb or VRBO, whether you have debated doing something like coaching, or being a virtual assistant. How kind of copywriting stacks up? And to me, again, I loved that it was the lowest cost, lowest risk model, that you could get started with no money, and that everything you earned from day one was profit. that you weren't on the hook for any massive, mortgage payments or, expensive graphic designers or things like that, that you could really just create a few writing samples. And that was all you needed to show a brand you could write and get started with them. I loved that you didn't need social media to get clients, that you could really go behind the scenes. So if you didn't want to post on LinkedIn or on Instagram that you are available for copywriting work, if that was in conflict with another employer, that you could really just keep it small and reach out as you met a business at an event or a local shop that you love, or if you just emailed a bigger business that you wanted to work with from anywhere in the world, that was probably the best ways to go get clients anyway, because you got to connect directly versus kind of just posting on social media hoping someone responds to you. And then again, I love that it's this mix of strategy and creativity, that it's fun to write for business, that it challenges you in a way, but it also feels fun and fulfilling and helps people. And then financially, it supports you as well, where you can earn $50 an hour, and that's a six-figure year, even if you're starting there, that you can scale to 75 or $100 an hour, which is a multi six-figure year, that you could even build a team if you wanted and then have a whole team working as at the same time. So for me, it was just so limitless and fulfilling and fun and freeing. And I could do it from any time zone, and I could completely design my schedule as long as I got my work done by the deadlines I agreed to with the business, that I didn't have to be on the calls all the time. So obviously, I could sing its praises all day long because it's made such a difference in my life, going from corporate to having this freedom and life that just looks so different. But I hope that sheds some light on it for you. I hope that really helps you. I think I said shed that light like 3 times in this video. So sorry if I've repeated that phrase so much off the top of my head. But check out the resources below. And there's a free training, free starter kit, and then information inside those about my programs if you do want an 8-week path to build your own freelance writing business for an income stream or entire six-figure business as your own boss. I hope this is helpful. Like and subscribe for more videos on this, and let me know what you want to see in the comments below. Talk soon.